Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Judith and I make videos all about the behind the scenes of a candle company. And if you're an OG, welcome back. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about why I left Etsy. I feel like I've been promising this video for a very long time, way back when we were in the old studio, but life happens. I'm a new mom, we moved, all got sick, we're over it now. So here we are. Where do I start? Don't even know how to start, so we're just gonna dive right into it. I've been in business for 5 years. We're actually coming up on an anniversary in December. I started this company in December of 2017, and when I was trying to think of a platform as to where I can sell my handmade crafts, you automatically think of Etsy, because in 2017, Etsy was booming. It was like the #1 platform for all makers and small businesses, and I still feel like it is. I don't think at that time I even thought about Shopify or Wix. I honestly don't even think I even heard of it at the time, and I definitely didn't think that I was able to get on Amazon. I didn't even know that was a possibility, which it is, but that's a whole other video. So when I opened up my Etsy shop, I think I was on Etsy for maybe 3 years, 2 years. I can't even remember. I would have to like go back in my records and find out. If I am able to figure it out, I'll put it down here somewhere. But yeah, I was on Etsy for maybe 2 or 3 years. Everything was fantastic. It's great. I think that if you're just starting out with your craft, the best platform for you to use is Etsy. They do their own marketing. You don't have to pay for advertising. Etsy pulls in their own clientele. So when you go on Etsy and you type in the search bar, you're looking for handmade earrings or handmade candles, you can type that in and then hundreds of makers will pop up. So the good thing about it is that you have an influx of customers that are constantly going to be going onto the site. But the bad thing is that when someone asks you, hey, where'd you get those earrings? I really like it. Sometimes you don't always remember the shop. So you say, oh, I found it on Etsy. Oh, I found these vintage pants on Etsy. So people go on Etsy and they type in vintage pants and you find something and it may not be similar to the one that your friend has. That's one of the downfalls of having Etsy, is that not a lot of people remember your name unless they are a true fanatic of your products. Then they're gonna make the effort to remember you. I think that if you're just starting out, paying for your own domain, like Shopify or Wix and whatever else is out there, it could be, well, it is very expensive to have to pay for your domain name, renew that every single year, and then you have to drive your own traffic to your website. On Etsy, you don't have to. You can, but you really don't have to, because I would say like a good 70% or maybe even 80% of it, probably more, is being driven by Etsy traffic alone. So that's kind of like free marketing and free ads right there in itself. What ended up having me switch over to Shopify and wanting to have my own domain was I was listening to the Merriweather podcast. And if you don't know who she is, she's fantastic. She gives really great advice for small businesses on Etsy specifically. I kind of think that she is gearing away towards that, but you can still probably download and listen to her podcast because it's great. I used to listen to it every single morning and she would give a lot of really good business advice. So I was listening to her and she said, if Etsy were to disappear, you would have no way of retaining your customers that you already have, because Etsy at the time didn't allow for you to save your customer's email address. Now, I don't know if that's changed now in 2022. If it has, you guys leave a comment down below. Let's have a conversation. Let me know if any of the things that I'm saying have changed, because it's been a really long time since I've been on Etsy. So I'm speaking specifically to my experience, how I experienced Etsy and the things that I went through. So everyone's opinion is going to be their own. Some people are still on Etsy and they've been on there for 10 years and they find success. That's great. So by no means am I knocking Etsy, because Etsy is what got me to where I am right now. I think that after 3 years of being on Etsy, I felt as though I was in a very comfortable position where I could kind of go off to have my own website. So I remember keeping Etsy and then opening up a Shopify and running them in tandem. So I had orders coming in from Etsy and orders coming in from Shopify. But at least on Shopify, I was able to do things that I wasn't able to do on Etsy. At the time, you weren't allowed to have, let's say, a gift box set and have people choose the items that you wanted to put in that gift box. I think you were limited to 3 options or 2 options at the time. Now, I don't know if that's changed. If it has, let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about it. But I think it was limiting me, and I wanted to do so much more, especially during the holiday seasons where you want to offer tons of gift box options, and Etsy was limiting me at that time. Plus, going back to the podcast, as I mentioned, she talked about if Etsy were to disappear, go out of business, you would have no way of retaining your clientele and saying, hey guys, we just moved over to this website, come follow us here, come shop with us here, unless you're on Instagram and everything. I think Instagram at the time wasn't as ad heavy and advertisement and business heavy as it is now. So that got me thinking that, oh my God, I really need to start creating an email list. And this is why an email list is so important for you to retain your customers. And to be able to reach out to them and say, hey, we're having a sale. Hey, we're doing XYZ. So all of those things are really important. Another thing that kind of turned me off about Etsy was just all of the fees. Now, I don't know what the fees are like now. There was like a 20-cent fee when you list a product, a 20-cent fee when you sell the product, a 20-cent fee when you restock the product, and then like a 3.2 or 3 point something credit card fee. All of these things were adding up. And then they started doing things where if you offer free shopping, we'll list you as our top 10 shop. Now as a maker, if you're offering free shipping, shipping is expensive. You know, I'm in New York. If I'm shipping to California, that's an easy 10 to 13 bucks, depending on how heavy the candle is. My products are heavy. If you're doing things like stickers or small, maybe handmade earrings, then, you know, it may be a little bit easier, but shipping is expensive. You can, I guess, include shipping in your price, but now you're bumping up your price. Now customers are a little bit upset that prices are changing. We can't always afford to offer free shipping. So that was another downfall. They were really heavy on advertising the shops that offered free shipping. So all of these things added up, and it just made me realize, okay, I think it's time for me to open up my own shop. So I did that. It took me months of creating my own website, but I do find Shopify to be easier than some of the other domains that are out there. I absolutely love Shopify. Their representatives are great. They're there to help you whenever you need it. And it was kind of self-intuitive how to figure things out. So I am a huge fan. So I remember staying up late, trying to create everything on my own. I never asked anyone for help. I designed everything completely on my own. So I'm very proud of myself for that. I probably could have asked for some help, but I always try to do things the most cost-efficient way as possible. If I can do it on my own and I can save money, then I will do it. If it's more time-consuming and it's better for me to outsource it, then I'll do that. So whatever works for you and whatever works within your time capacity, I feel is the best thing for you guys to do for your business. So I opened up my Shopify. I still kept my Etsy open. And then when I felt as though people were buying less on Etsy and more on Shopify, or once I felt like I had a really good standing on Shopify, what I did was I turned off my Etsy. So I didn't completely shut down. What I ended up doing was putting it on vacation mode. And what that does is kind of turns it off, but I put a banner that says, we moved, we have our own website, shop with us here. So it's redirecting traffic over to my Shopify site. Now it's been like another 3 years from me not being on Etsy, and I do occasionally check on it, and I get a couple of hits, maybe like 7 to 10 hits a week, which is still interesting to see because I've been off of it for a while. That just tells me that I'm still coming up in searches. But I feel very comfortable on Shopify because now I can do things that I wasn't able to do before, like email my clients, send them a holiday sale email saying, hey, this is what's going on in the shop today. Come shop, save 20%. On Etsy, you can't do that. There are people that do retain emails and they send them out, but I don't think that's allowed. I don't know if it's changed. If it has, let me know down in the comments. Again, let's talk about it. Tell me if anything that I'm talking about has changed since then, because it's been a really long time. But I'm much happier on Shopify. I can move things around and create different options, and I can do things that I couldn't do on Etsy. It's giving me the flexibility to do whatever I want. Essentially, I have my own website. I'm designing it, reconfiguring it however I want. So it's really great. Now, I have been thinking about going back to Etsy and turning it on so that I can have both, because a sale is a sale, whether it's coming from Etsy or Shopify. And if I can gain maybe another 5% of clientele from Etsy, that's great. And the only reason why I would do that is because I think that right now, Urban Wanderlust is in a financial place where I can afford to pay all of these fees that I was paying on Etsy. That works out in my benefit if I can gain those 5% of customers back. So another thing about Etsy that has kind of changed, which I feel like is a little controversial right now, well, I don't know if they allow it, but back then I don't think they did. It's Etsy no longer being a platform for handmade crafts. It was originally just for small businesses, people who make handmade crafts. And now you are starting to see other makers out there with items that look manufactured, mass produced, which wasn't the intent for Etsy originally. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think about that. But I remember being off of Etsy at that time when that started to become a really hot topic. So those are all of the reasons why I went from Etsy to Shopify. I'm able to retain customer emails, which is very important because I can take that with me anywhere I want. I can control the website, how it looks, the options that I'm putting out there for each product. I'm not charged a listing fee. Yes, you do have to pay a domain price for the domain name, but I definitely think it's worth it in the end. Now, this is not to knock Etsy as a beginning source for new makers. I still think it's a fantastic, can you hear Ellie's little musical thing? All right. I still think that if you're a brand new maker and you're just starting out, I think Etsy is a fantastic platform for you to begin on. It's bringing you your customers, it's advertising for you. Everyone goes on Etsy and can hopefully land on your page. It's all about SEO and word of mouth and getting your name brand out there. So if you're just starting out, I do still think that Etsy is the perfect place to do that. Well guys, thank you for watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the content and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.